Good afternoon, Outliers. I realized I didn't have my mic in front of me with 3 seconds of this starting. How y'all doing today? Happy Thursday. I hope your day is going fantastic. Quick reminder, quick housekeeping item. I will be out tomorrow, so no trading room tomorrow. I'm sorry. I will be on the road. We're kidnapping, in quotes, kidnapping one of my friends and taking him on a 40th birthday celebration party over the weekend. Fun story. His wife is clearly in all of it. She set it up. But we are actually renting a big white 15-passenger van, and we're going to throw him in the back of it, which is going to be really fun. It's going to add to it for sure. So let's see who's here. Peter, good afternoon. How you doing, bud? All right. So trying to decide which. Yeah. Let's talk about the news first, because I have some really cool updates to Outlier that I want to share with you. But this was super funny to me, and I wanted to share this. Voters share how they feel about Kamala Harris. I think she's an idiot. So let's see what people are saying about it.
Love affair between the media and Barack Obama. We're seeing a new version of that. It's just lamer for Kamala Harris. Watch.
Harris made her first official campaign stop, and she did it with a delicious, and I mean delicious, dose of trolling Donald Trump and the Republicans.
She understands what her message is. She understands message discipline, and she's an extraordinary candidate on the trail.
I don't think anybody needs to be labeling Kamala as an extraordinary candidate. I think she is the DEI candidate. We've all discussed that. The DEI candidate, so they could fulfill, having somebody other than a Joe Biden in the White House. And I wouldn't say that she is the most extraordinary candidate of all time.
Kamala Harris is unleashed. She's just brilliant.
I was blown away.
She's just brilliant.
I kind of fell in love with her. She was smart, engaging. She's funny, feisty, twinkle in your eye.
Kamala Harris has had the single best first day of any presidential candidate in history.
Yeah, it's the modern equivalent of.
Well, that's because the person she's replacing was having one of the single worst days in his presidency. That is for sure. Hey, Jean-Louis, good to see you.
Thrill up the leg, another 2008 callback. Some of that seems a little forced, especially when you hear from actual voters in swing states like this.
Oh, here we go.
I honestly need to get more information about Kamala, because I just don't know enough about her. So I'm on a wait and see.
Nobody does, because she has been not disappeared, but behind the scenes for the last 4 years. And, the one thing that we all can put our finger on was the fact that she was the border czar. She made herself the border czar. She was put in charge of making sure the border was secure. Now the media's gaslighting and saying, no, that she never was that. But I saw this video the other day, how it was just like post after post after post that she posted saying how she's going to control the borders. And then she taking the podium talking about how she's going to control the borders. So anybody who tells you she was never the border czar is completely gaslighting you. But to that point is nobody knows anything about her, right? Other than the fact that she can speak this much better than Biden and is an absolute crazy person sometimes with her crazy laugh.
I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy. Well, it isn't. Not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
She's worked with him. She's been, to my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to attention? If she's willing to hide that type of information once she's in office, now what she's willing to hide for herself.
Talking about the fact that Joe Biden had been on a roller coaster spin downward, that he couldn't fulfill his job. And what this lady was just saying was, if she is one of the people perpetrating that lie, what else is she going to lie to us about?
When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
I don't get a good feel for her.
I think she's an idiot.
Okay, I was not ready for that one. I think she's an idiot.
Ouch. That was also on the same network where all the anchors were gushing.
Yeah, were they?
Yeah, which is, speaking of delicious, that was kind of delicious, Elizabeth.
It certainly was. Look, my dad taught me something when I was a little girl. We were discussing politics, and he said, never underestimate Americans. And I think that's exactly what the Democrats are about to learn. Rhetoric will only get you so far. When the American people have been living under 4 years of a Biden-Harris administration, they know exactly what they're getting with this ticket. They know exactly what they're going to get with this candidate. And no amount of Democrats on TV talking about how she's the shiny new toy is going to change their minds, right? The American people know what they deserve. They know that they've now been lied to by this administration and by Kamala Harris for years about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. Who else, knows what they've been lied to now? I think the obvious choice here is Donald Trump for me, but I think for anyone, the obvious choice is.
I think, you know, the point that she's making there, which is absolutely the God's honest truth, is we have no idea what all they've been lying to us about. And they just got caught in a lie of the fact that Joe Biden had no business being in charge of the White House. And now, dude's gone and his successor is coming in. I will tell you, I think very strongly that there will be some contention. I have heard, now this is just rumors, right? I have heard that there are plans at the Democratic convention to upend this assumption by Kamala Harris. So we will definitely see. Let's take a look at Bank of America stock, right? We're talking about the American president. Let's talk about the Bank of America, right? This was one I traded recently, made a little bit of money on. And let's see, we got a buy signal on July 11th. In fact, let's go to my results here. Yeah. So we bought this on July 11th, watched it pop up just like that. Shabam. I took my profits on this date here, about 2.87% gain on the stock on that buy signal. We did just get a sell signal today on that though. So if you are a BAC shareholder, you may want to be taking your shares off the table. In fact, OVTLYR is outperforming the buy and hold at 26.95%, where buy and hold is at 22.17%. So OVTLYR continues to outperform. One of the main reasons why I am such an advocate for it. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Now, I got to show you this. This is what I wasn't sure. I am not supposed to show this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. Mark is probably going to kill me if he knows that I'm going to show this. So I'm going to go into our internal Skype messaging here. And Mark sent us over a chart yesterday, some data, and I was looking through this and I'm like, Mark, I don't really understand how to read this. And so I recaptioned it today, and look at this. OVTLYR signals outperformed 78% of stocks. That's pretty outrageous, right? Actually, I think the number is higher. That was just the number that I thought it was, and I put that in there. But I believe the number is even higher. And the average outperformance was 5.35x on the capital efficiency. Capital efficiency meaning how long are you in the market and how much gains are you getting in relation to how long you're being in the market, right? 5.35% is the average outperformance. So I had to share this. I was so excited about it. But one thing I'm also excited about is the dev version of the scanner. So let's talk about the scanner real quick, because the scanner is getting way better, right? So this is inside of dev. This will be inside production in the next week or so. We've had, I know, Mark, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to share it. I knew he'd kill me. So inside of the dev platform, the screener, we had an internal meeting yesterday talking about it. And I was like, ooh, this is so good. I am very excited for when this goes to production, because this is going to save me and you tons and tons of time. Check this out. You can filter by index. Now, this is in the dev platform, so it absolutely takes longer. No doubt about it. The sector, you can filter down to the industry. You can filter by OVTLYR signal return. So if I was building this for myself, I would filter for positive returns. Capital efficiency, I'm not sure where that's going to go yet. Greater than 1 million, average daily volume. Current signal status, buy. Price correction, I'm not somebody who looks for pullbacks, but if you are, that's what that's for. I want to see the oscillator moving up. Market cap, I have no preference, so I'm gonna leave it wide open. My price range is $20 minimum, but maximum whatever. Heat map value, this is really cool. So there was one we took not all that long ago, which in my process, I didn't even realize how high the heat map had gotten. So we can actually filter out and say anything that's in the R's, like if I'm going long, anything that's in the reds, and then anything that's in the greens up to green 40, for example. So if it hits G40, I'm not interested in trading that. It's just a little bit too rich for my blood. And I can take off the downtrend indicator, neutral indicator. And then I can save my screeners, right? So I could call it like Chris or whatever. And then you'll see your list of saved screeners over here. And then you apply your filter. So now this is going to save me 10 minutes a day, at least, in trading. So I'm very excited about this. Now, there are some parts that are still being worked on the development side, so it's not quite filled in all the way. But look at this, right? It filters out and it shows the last price. The current signal and the signal date will be right here, so we can filter just for today. The OVTLYR signal return, capital efficiencies, the sectors and healthcares, the overlay, so like green overlay, red overlays, etc. Like this, right? So this is a green overlay, meaning it's trending upward. Red overlay, meaning it's trending down. The heat map value, which is this down here, shows how greedy or fearful the investors are. And if we had a price correction, anything like that. But the oscillator, that's the blue line on here. That is actually like the most important indicator on everything is the oscillator, right? And so I'm just really stoked about this because this is going to save me tons of time. But one thing that's really cool about this, check this out. You can actually just click the star button right here and it will add all of them. I'm not going to do it right now. It'll add all of these to your favorites list, which is pretty neat, right? Or you can just individually add them to your favorites list. So I think that's super cool. So anyway, those are the updates that I had to share with you. You know, like I say, I'm the biggest advocate for OVTLYR out there. And I was very, very excited for all the recent updates. So let's jump into our market analysis. All right. Welcome to the OVTLYR trading room. This is smart trading made simple. Save time, make money, start winning with less risk. Now, this is what I like to call profit hacking. If you don't have a copy already of the profit hacking playbook, head on over to profithackingplaybook.com or pick it up inside the Discord in the VIP Investors Toolkit area. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I've been successfully trading since 2009. I'm a partner with OVTLYR, and this is my style of trading using OVTLYR. So the way that I like to trade, I call the golden ticket trading strategy, and it's the 8 steps to turn profit hacking into pure gold. Let's go, Mahesh. Get it done. I agree. Now, the master key to the golden ticket trading strategy is here on the SPY signal, the market breadth, and the sector breadth. And I will tell you, kept us out of trouble this week. Absolutely 100% kept us out of trouble. That's part of trading too, is being in when the market's going your way and not being in when things aren't going your way. Now, we do have a buy signal on the market right now. I'll let that load up. But the market breadth was what kept me out this week. And let's go to that real quick. One thing I've mentioned many times is that when breadth hits an extreme, right? When there's 78% of stocks that are on the bull list, right? So they have a buy signal. There's not a whole lot more it can do except go down. Consider it this way. If everybody has bought, what's left to do? What's left to do is sell, right? So when it reaches extremes over 75%, I like to get in as it's going up, but once it starts turning around, I don't trade anymore until it reverses and then comes back up again. So the market breadth actually peaked on the 19th. And if we look, the 19th is this candle here. Now, I actually got out of the market completely on this candle right here. Reason being was it would look like it was about to close under the 20 period moving average. So I decided, you know what, that's my limit. If it goes under the 20, I need to get out completely. Opportune time because the market has really sold off since that point. We're talking down about 2% or so, give or take, from that point there. But it's not just that, right? We've got the market breadth that's peaked and the market signals. Even though this particular buy signal isn't performing all that well, the performance summary still shows 70% following OVTLYR's buy and sell signals. That's what we want to see right there. So the master key here, which has disappeared, there it is. The SPY signal combined with the market breadth. And if I were trading, the sector breadth for that stock. Now, there was a question in the Discord proposed by Goran about CLS. So he was talking about the CLS stock price, and he was talking about different earnings results, the story about how great the stock is. And so I wanted to break down CLS because I actually traded CLS recently and I made money on it. And let's talk about why. There. Okay. Now my stuff should pop up here. There it is. All right. So I got in on the 15th. I wrote it up on this candle here, about 3.33% actually. And I got out on that day. And then it just collapsed after that point, right? From the high to now, it's down. Whoa, it's down 17%. That's pretty crazy. Now, what got me out? What got me out of CLS was the heat map down here. We talked about that just a moment ago. This shows how greedy or fearful people are. And what we want to see is we want to see people getting more and more greedy, right? We want more and more buyers coming into the market. So on this date, if you look, I'll make this bigger. If you look on this line right here, and I go over the buy signal, it was at G31. So the green value goes from 0 to 50. It was at G31 on that date. And it was also G31 on the following day. So for me, that is an exit signal. It's no longer getting greedier, if you want to think of it that way. So I took my profits and I got out the day before the market collapsed down. Now, there's a lot to be said with this. And one thing that I wanted to discuss was a quote that I actually keep on my vision board, if you want to call it, right over there. And it's this quote here. 40% of a stock's price movement is due to the market. 30% is due to the sector. And only the last 30% is due to the stock itself. Now, that's a quote from Steve Cohen, market wizard. And I dropped a link to the full interview here. I believe this came from his market wizard interview. I'm not sure. I don't think this was an interview with Business Insider, but it's in here. In fact, let me find it real quick. Yeah. 40% of a stock's price movement was due to the market itself, 30% due to the sector, and 30% due to the stock itself. So due to the market, due to the sector, and then due to itself. Okay. And he learned that from Wharton Business School. I was looking at this earlier and saw that. So, meaning, when the market is starting to turn around, right? Closing on this date here, getting out of everything on this date here. That's 40% of the stock's movement in one spot, right? If the market is not pushing everything higher, what is it doing? It's pushing everything lower, right? So 40% of the movement can be attributed to that. Then it's in the tech sector. And if we take a look at the tech sector's breadth, market breadth of the tech sector, it actually peaked on the tech sector on the 17th and started going down. Okay, so the breadth of that sector peaked. And then we just talked about a minute ago about why I got out on that particular stock. So the market turned around, the sector turned around, the stock turned around. And so you need to know everything. Yeah, well, let me rephrase that. You don't need to know everything. You just have to look at a few key items, right? And one thing I put in the Discord is that the market tells you where it's going. The market always shows what it's doing. You may not get out at the very top. You may not get in at the very bottom, but you can see where the trends are changing. You can. Anybody who tells you elsewise doesn't know how to trade, doesn't know what they're talking about. You don't have to be perfect, right? They always say that the bottom eighth of the market and the top eighth of the market are the most expensive, right? Because people are calling tops and people are calling bottoms. And it's that 6/8 in between that you can make tons of money on if you can just ride that, even just, 2 of the 8s, a quarter of it, a 3 of the 8s, right? You don't have to ride the entire 6/8 to make any money. But trying to call the top, trying to call the bottom, it's a fool's game for sure. But you can, using the data that's on the charts, and more importantly, using the data inside of OVTLYR, which I outlined here, was able to allow me to make a decent profit on CLS and avoid a very, very strong pullback. And like I say earlier, I need to do this again. Saving you time, making money, start winning with less risk. That is what the basis of OVTLYR and this company is built on. That is what we want to deliver to you. That's why we do this every single day, is to show this is not just, another piece of data. This is not just a black box that you have no idea what's going on. This is not just something we sell and disappear. We put our money in the market just like you do. We eat our own cheeseburgers. We drink our own Kool-Aid. We wear our own Men's Warehouse suits, right? I'm not just a customer. I'm also the founder, whatever they say. Point is, we want to be successful with OVTLYR, and we want you to be successful with OVTLYR. So I'm excited we can do this together. So that's going to wrap it for today's OVTLYR Trading Room. Don't forget, I will not be here tomorrow. We will be right back here on Monday. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Talk soon.